Kevin?
Well, yeah, because I think it's a problem for the Democratic Party. The Democrats really depend on these public employee unions in a lot of states for their support and for their political muscle, and public employee unions got a problem here. I want to distinguish between unions and public employee unions. Unions obviously are critical, but in the public sector, public employee unions have a pretty easy time getting a lot of benefits because nobody's really pushing back all that hard.
Oh, excuse me.
That is a problem for the Democratic Party. Because right now, the way it's being framed is, whose side are you on, the public employees union or the taxpayers' side?
Nina?
So it's the union's fault that the managers caved. In this case, I don't know what the details are in all the other states where this is happening, but in Wisconsin, this is by now a manufactured crisis because the governor can't take yes for an answer. The unions have said, we'll give you all the cuts and benefits and salaries you want. We just want to preserve our bargaining rights, and he says no.
Colby?
Well, I think Charles is right about this being an important moment. I won't say a magnificent moment at all, but it's an important moment because what is at issue at the heart of this in Wisconsin and probably elsewhere is collective bargaining on the part of employee unions. And the question is whether that's going to be sustained or not. The governor of Wisconsin is clearly out to break the union. That's his objective there, and everybody's got to watch this. All the states are watching to see what's going to happen here, because if it happens there in Wisconsin, it could very well happen elsewhere. And I think that's going to be this is a fundamental fight we have on our hands now.
Mark?
Let's be very blunt. The United States workers would never have had a 5-day work week, an 8-hour work day. We would never have had minimum wage laws, child labor laws, health and pension benefits without the skill, the passion, the commitment, and the clout of organized labor. Owners and employers just didn't voluntarily wake up one morning and say, that'd be nice to do to workers. So have unions made a difference in America's landscape? Do they make a difference every day? You better believe it. At the same time, the same people, my good friend Evan, whom I respect enormously, endorses and embraces private sector unions, which now have fallen in strength to the point where they represent 1 out of 12 workers. They're defanged. They're basically powerless. Okay? When they represented 35% of workers a generation ago, not Evan, but many on the right said they were a threat to American democracy. They're a threat to the American way of life. Now, public employees have the same right to collective bargain that any employee does. I mean, it's that simple. How does a school teacher, a lone school teacher, negotiate with the city of New York or the city of Milwaukee? You've got to pool your resources to do that.
Democrats, Charles Krauthammer says, are desperately defending the status quo. Republicans are charging the barricades. How about that?
Well, that's dramatic language. But let's go back to what Mark was talking about. The governor wants to eliminate collective bargaining, but he said they can bargain over wages. But look at what he leaves out of the picture. Conditions of employment. Circumstances that only a union can come together and change in a public setting or in a private setting. A teacher can't, or a teacher or a firefighter or a police officer can't negotiate the conditions and the circumstances where he's going to work or the benefits around him. He can't negotiate.
Yeah, okay. This is all true, but let's look at the situation around the states. Public employee unions have had disproportionate power because in a private situation, the shop owner, the store owner will push back. If they give away the store, they lose the store. In a public setting, it's state legislatures who just want to get more contributions from unions. They're happy to say yes, especially for the unfunded stuff down the road. And we've gotten ourselves into a tremendous jam here by states saying, sure, you can have great pensions down the road, later. You know, that's all fine. So there's like $3 trillion of these unfunded pensions. It's a serious situation.
That's true, but that's worth negotiating over and figuring out a solution to. It is not worth stamping people on the head till they're dead.